Hello my friends, welcome all back to the channel. It is the good old Mossy Jake, back with another Nintendo video. Okay, so the whole Switch 2 additions to Switch 1 games. Now hold on, I know that may have started out a little bit like, oh, they're terrible. No, I didn't mean for that to come off as like, oh, I hate every single one of them. No. That's not what I'm trying to say here. Switch 2 editions are awesome. It's kind of like a, I guess just like an added DLC to games that they're doing with these. And I think it's great. I think it's a great idea for Nintendo. It's also a great idea for them. It's a great idea for us because they can capitalize on more things. And we know how Nintendo likes their money and we know how much we like our games, right? So it's a great way to give added content to games. But I've been thinking about this lately and could this end up being a serious problem? What's going on, guys? Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, because today's gonna be, I don't even know how today's gonna go. I may just go off on this because I got some things to say. Anyway, so Nintendo Switch 2 editions, like I said, it's a great thing for fans to like kind of get like a DLC. I have nothing against DLC, but there's just been this thought lately in my head that's like, okay, is the Nintendo Switch 2 editions for games kind of a way of giving us something, giving us an excuse for Nintendo not to give us more new games? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Because here's the thing. We like DLC, like I said. But if it's kind of replacing all these new games that we could be getting, then are we really going to look back on the Switch 2 and think, oh man, the Switch 2 was so amazing. That was such a great generation. Or are we going to look back on the Switch 1 generation and be like, yo, that was the best generation because that's where we got the original games. Nintendo, I like the idea of Switch 2 editions, but if we keep going down this road and like they start spending so much of their time just giving us Switch 2 editions, when you look back, you're gonna look back at the Switch 1 edition because that was like the main thing, right? So for instance, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, whatever, came out on the Switch 1. It just recently got its Switch 2 edition, added content. W Nintendo. We love some DLC. We love things like this. But think about this. When you look back on that game, 10 years from now, right? Way into the future, right? Are people going to be thinking, wow, that DLC was better than the actual game? Now, it could be. It could be that good. Or are you just going to look back and be like, huh, I paid another $20 for this DLC. And then I paid another $20 for this Switch 2 edition. And then this one. And then this one. And this one. But I didn't get a lot of games. You know? Does that make sense to everyone? I'm new to these long form videos, so I hope I'm coming across right. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense here. If Nintendo is only giving us Switch 2 editions, which they're not, you know, we got Mario Kart World, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, but a lot of people are complaining about how we haven't gotten as much this generation as we did the start of Switch 1 generation. Could this be because of all these Switch 2 editions? They're like, oh, just work on that Switch 2 edition. Just work on that Switch 2 edition. Could be. I'm not saying that is it, because I don't think it is completely. But maybe what I'm trying to say here is, how long are you going to take this? How far are you going to take this, Nintendo? Are we just going to have Switch 2 editions for the entire generation of Switch 2? Now, I need to slow down because we've only gotten a few. I know. So I know people could be like, are you serious? Like, why is he saying this? You're an idiot, bro. It's just the start of the Switch 2 edition, the Switch 2, and we're just getting a few. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the type of thing Nintendo is just going to give us a few of. We might be getting Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games for the entire generation of Switch 2, which isn't bad in and of itself. I like the Switch 2 editions. But if a team at Nintendo is setting aside their time to work on all these Switch 2 editions and not new games, could this be the reason we haven't gotten as much? Now another point a lot of people make is like, well, Nintendo games, or video games in general, actually, take a lot longer to make nowadays. You know, you can't just whip them out like you used to. Yeah, makes sense, sort of. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, maybe they could just be giving us these Switch 2 editions because to kind of hold us off for all the bigger games that are coming. And I know there will be big games on the Switch 2. I'm not saying that we're only going to have Switch 2 editions. I know, I get it. Don't come after me, chat. I'm just saying, why You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Why would Nintendo take all their teams, not all their teams, I'm sorry, I'm over exaggerating this. Why would Nintendo take some of their teams to make just Switch 2 editions when they all could be working on bigger games and having those get out sooner? Now, like I said, we are still at the start of the Switch 2 launch. This Switch 2 edition may just fly by, may just be a passing thought. Maybe this is it. Maybe Kirby in the Forgotten Land this is it. You know? Maybe that's the last Switch 2 edition we're going to get. But the way they're setting this up, like, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's saying, and, you know, who knows what Nintendo's going to do. They're just a whole different company now than they were years ago. It could be that the games are just taking longer to make, so there's like, oh, we'll do Switch 2 editions. People will enjoy that. People will buy that, and to kind of hold them off till the big games, right? Smart move, but also, why aren't they working on the games themselves, like the bigger games, because kind of speed those up? But maybe they can't. I don't know. I'm not a professional on this. All I'm saying here, and to wrap this up real quick. I'm sorry, I kind of ramble a little bit. Why would Nintendo just do this? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but like, is this going to be a passing thing? Is this going to be another thoughts in the air? You know what I'm saying? Or are we going to get more of these? I want to get more of these, but I also don't want to get more of these. You know what I'm saying? And I know I feel like I totally repeated myself like 3 times in this video, but emphasis, you know what I'm saying? Switch 2 editions are not bad. I'm not saying they are. I was very disappointed by Mario Party Jamboree. That seemed very much of a cash grab. They were just like, oh, $20, you know, and in fact, $80 if you want the Switch 2 edition, right, it's great stuff. But they didn't add anything to that. It was kind of just an HD port just for the TV version, not for the... Did you guys know that? Did you know that the enhanced graphics is just for the Jamboree TV portion, not the actual game? It's whatever. It's this whole thing. But I'm not talking about that. It's a little worrisome that they might just be giving these over and over again, and like people are being forced to buy the $80 games if they don't have the full thing. They're like, oh, I'll just buy the $80 version to get the full thing, right? When they could just buy the normal edition and they're not really getting much. That's a whole nother topic for another day. I'm not really going to get into it today. But are they worth it? Who knows? I think they're kind of fun. But is Nintendo going to go too far with it? That's all I had to say. That's really all I had to say. So make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Let me know down below in the comments if you think the Switch 2 editions of all these Nintendo games are going to continue. Do you think it's going to be like blocking all these other Switch 2, delaying, I guess, not blocking, delaying all these other games from coming out sooner? Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. And of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.